The Supreme Court on Friday, June 30th, struck down Biden's student loan forgiveness plan to cancel up to $20,000 in student loan debt. Yes, the $10,000 that most people were getting to pay off their student loans, and some were getting $20,000 to pay off their student loans, that is no more. Now, 25 million people applied for the debt relief program, and it was approved by the Department of Education. It has now been taken away based on the ruling of the Supreme Court. Now, many people are disappointed because we were going to use that money to pay our student loan debts off, or at least help to pay it down. But there still may be other options according to some senators and other progressives, so the fight is still not over, and I'll go over some of those options later on in this video. So here's the thing, why was this struck down in the first place? If the Department of Education approved it, why did it get struck down? So it all started in August of 2022 when Biden was getting a lot of pressure from Democrats to fix the lending system that was considered to be broken and predatory. So Biden was like, well, okay, if the system is broken, if it's predatory, then I'll help out by canceling $10,000 worth of debt for most borrowers and even $20,000 worth of debt for people who received the Pell Grants. How was Biden so confident that this would get passed through when we had lots of other people saying that there was no way that this would pass through? Well, Biden concluded that its relief was permitted by the HEROES Act of 2003. And you're like, what is the HEROES Act of 2003? Well, it came about during the 9/11 terrorist attacks, and guess what? It grants the president power to revise student loan programs during national emergencies. And what national emergency was going on last year? COVID-19. So Biden was like, I'm using the HEROES Act to revise student loan programs, which can only be done during national emergencies. This is the time to do it right now. But then people wanted to bring forth lawsuits because it didn't really benefit everybody, apparently. Yes, the forgiveness plan faced 6 lawsuits from Republican-backed states and from conservative groups. They were saying that the forgiveness plan was an overusage of the president's power. Now, not all of the 6 groups made it all the way up to the Supreme Court, but 2 made it all the way up to the Supreme Court to challenge this relief plan. One was brought by 6 GOP states: Nebraska, Missouri, Arkansas, Iowa, Kansas, and South Carolina. And the other one was backed by the Job Creators Network Foundation, which is a conservative advocacy organization. Those 2 parties were like, no, canceling all of that student loan debt, no. Not only is he overstepping his powers, but Biden, this is illegal. They were calling it illegal. They were like, listen, canceling all of this debt is gonna harm us. It's gonna harm the Missouri Higher Education Loan Authority. So essentially they were gonna have a reduction of borrowers that had accounts with them, which would mean less money going to the state of Missouri. So less money going to the state of Missouri was a big problem because so much money is being made off of student loans, hence the lawsuit. Well, of course, Biden had an attorney backing him, and when the 2 parties disagreed and said this was weird, this was skeptical, this was illegal, the attorney was in support of the forgiveness plan. She felt as if Biden was right within his scope of the law to relieve borrowers of distress during a national emergency. You remember the HEROES Act is tied to national emergencies. So when was the next time that we were gonna get a big national emergency? Now was the time. The pandemic was the time to actually use this law. That's the only time you can use it, is during a national emergency. Another thing that the attorney argued is that we needed to cancel debt for most borrowers because once payments resumed, it was going to cause unprecedented defaults and delinquencies. Well, in terms of this student loan strike down, it was a 6-3 decision. The conservative majority party said that essentially Biden's way of erasing $400 billion of student loan debt was an overuse of his power and was illegal. So conservatives celebrated the Supreme Court's decision, calling the forgiveness plan an illegal scheme, saying that it was too costly for taxpayers and it was unfair to Americans who did not have student loan debt. But still, the fight may not be over. No. People are not backing down. The progressives now want Biden to come up with another way to cancel student loan debt by using a different law, not the HEROES Act law, but a different law. Clearly, the HEROES Act that Biden used didn't work. There is an option, according to progressives, to settle the debts using the Higher Education Act. In the meantime, payments will resume in the fall of 2023. So loan payments will resume in October of 2023, though interest payments will begin to accrue in September, according to the U.S. Department of Education. My thoughts on this, I know for myself, I am going to be paying down the remaining $10,000 that I have as much as I can while we still have zero interest, because the zero interest makes a huge difference. I paid off $56,000 in 11 months with zero interest. I would not have been able to do that if interest was being accrued, because I was paying $400 a month and it was all going to interest. So with no interest, you can pay off quite a bit of your student loans by taking advantage of these months that we have left. So it looks like I will be hunkering down and paying off the rest of this $10K. But what are your thoughts? Leave a comment. Let me know, do you agree with the Supreme Court's decision, or do you think that this relief should have been provided because the lending system is broken and predatory? For tips on how I paid off $56,000 worth of student loan debt in less than 11 months, check out this video right here. And with that, thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video.